I cut off my parents' $600 a week. Then the bank called me by mistake. I gave my parents $2,400 a month for an entire year. I never made a show of it. I just set up the auto transfer and let it run in the background of my life. Their finances had gone soft after Dad retired early. Nobody asked for help dramatically. Mom would just mention the property tax hike over coffee. Dad would stare out the kitchen window a little too long. I was 26, single, working a remote job that paid well enough to be careless with kindness. I thought the money would change something. It didn't. Not their gratitude, not their instinct to include me. The trip came up in April. Mum said they were driving down to the coast for a week. I waited for the invite. It never came. I gave it one more day, then called Dad on a Tuesday afternoon. "We didn't want you there," he said flatly, the same tone he'd use explaining why they'd bought store-brand cereal instead of name brand. "You're not good on trips. You go quiet. It kills the mood." I didn't argue. I didn't bring up the $31,200 I'd handed over that year. I just said okay and hung up. That night, I logged into my bank account and deleted the recurring transfer. It took 4 seconds. The next 24 hours felt like a strange, dry kind of peace. I went to work, I made dinner. I didn't cry. Crying would have meant I was surprised, and I wasn't. Somewhere I'd always known. The money wasn't buying me a seat at the table. It was buying me the illusion of one. Then my phone lit up. Mom. 2 minutes later, Dad. Then Mom again, then a neighbor's number I didn't recognize, then Dad's work line, then Mom crying into a voicemail, then an hour of silence, then the bank. I let every call go through to voicemail. I watched the little red notification climb. 12 missed calls by 6:23 p.m. I didn't feel powerful. I felt like someone watching a dam crack from a safe distance. The voicemail that mattered came at 7:42 the next morning, not from my parents, but from a loan officer named Brenda at a regional bank I'd never heard of. She'd misdialed and left a message meant for my father's file. "We need confirmation that the daughter's supplemental contribution will continue, or we'll have to revert the modification terms to standard, which would accelerate the timeline." I played it 3 times before it landed. My $600 a week hadn't just been a gift. It had been collateral. Never on paper, never in writing, just baked into the soft math a loan officer uses to call something stable income. My parents had told the bank they had ongoing family support. The bank believed them, and I had just pulled the floor out from under their mortgage renegotiation without knowing I was holding it up. I didn't call back that night. I called the next morning from my desk, coffee going cold beside me. Mom picked up on the first ring, already crying. "Honey, the bank called and they said, 'I know what you told them, Mom.'" Dad got on the extension. No apology, just, "We need you to restart the transfers for 3 more months, just until the paperwork clears. And then we can, No." Silence, then Mom's crying got louder, and Dad said my name the way you'd say it to a kid who broke something expensive. "You're punishing us," he said. I thought about correcting him. Punishment requires intent to harm. I'd just stopped bleeding. "I'm not coming on the trip, Dad. You made that clear. I'm just not paying for it anymore either." I hung up before he could answer. Not fast, just final. They called 27 more times over the next 2 weeks. I picked up twice. The second time, Dad told me the bank had rejected their modification. He said it in a voice I'd never heard from him before. Not angry, not sad, just small. The sound of a man realizing his daughter wasn't an ATM with a heartbeat. I didn't tell him I was sorry. I wasn't. I was tired, and for the first time in a year, I wasn't